Okay, so I've had a bunch of people of late ask me in my comment section in my videos, how do I find a mentor? And so, Chris, you're a mentor. I'm a mentor. This is what we do for a living. We get paid for it. And I'm pretty sure the people who were asking this question weren't saying, Rick and Chris, how can I pay for your services? Which you guys absolutely can. They were saying, just generally, how do I find a mentor? How do I find someone who can help me out? So, what do you reckon? What's some advice we can give to these folks?
Yeah. So it obviously, like, I think, just like you say, you want to be super upfront. Like, there's obviously lots of ways to be mentored we're not going to, this isn't just about like how or why you should pick Chris or Rick or whatever. Lots of ways to be mentored at all the kind of levels. And one thing I like to emphasize, this is kind of as a filter for any advice, if it's advice on a YouTube video and a tutorial course, whatever, is like certain kinds of mentors could be like really great, established, skilled people who may not be a fit for what you're after or what you need to know or your level or whatever it might be. So, I mean, we have a case where part of what I did in the club probably about now 6 months ago is I paired up people with mentors. Now, we haven't kept the program around for various reasons, but we tried it out. And one of the things we had happen was like someone volunteered from outside the club to be a mentor. And he is a senior engineer professional in C++ on AAA console games, which sounds like an amazing mentor. And he is, and he's a great guy and he'd be a great guy. But is actually like a really challenging fit for like how he's going to help somebody who's making a little small team Unity project in their spare time.
So what you're saying is look for relevant people, look for people.
Totally, yeah.
And you know, I went to a personal development seminar one time, and the guy was a guru. And he's like, you know what, when you're out there networking, there's this hierarchy people don't talk about. And he's like, I don't want to brag anything, but I'm A-level. Like, I've made it. I've got millions of people, millions of dollars. So anyone who's at like F level or D level who comes up and speaks to me, I'm like, we're not a match in terms of networking. We can't help each other that well. So if you're an absolute beginner right out of school, got nothing going on, then if you approach, you know, the hero, by all means approach them, but don't expect great results. Find someone who's one step ahead of you and who, you know, has the interest in helping. Hey, I was you just recently. I think there's some value in that as well.
So but I will as a disclaimer to that. So like my specialty is in helping people who are total beginners to it. Like there's a different thing between where someone's at and the level that they work at. So by default, if someone doesn't specifically go out of the way to be a teacher, to train themselves in being a trainer and learn all the things related to that, then yes, I mean, typically it's going to be like the best mentor in a workplace is probably the one rung above you on the ladder who relates to the job you're doing and knows what's going on and so on. In the teaching sphere, and there is value there. There's totally.
I mean, in terms of their willingness. So I think if you find the person who's the guru, they're going to be the best. Like, you know, this person's been doing it for 30 years. They know it inside and out. That'd be awesome to connect with them. But if you're not if you're not playing in the same ballpark as them, they're going to be less likely to be interested unless you pay them. But, you know, that might not be the right conversation. But if I say if I've been doing something for a year and I go find someone who's been doing it for 3 years, I jump on LinkedIn, I find say I'm a junior designer and I go find not a lead designer, but a regular designer, been doing it for 3 years. I'm like, hey man, can I ask you some questions? That person's, I think, more likely to say yeah than if I go and approach the creative director, you know, of my favorite game and say, hey, can I pick your brain?
Right. And I'll also say that it does often just partly come down to what your expectation is of their time. And so, because people will they'll go to their first games conference as part of their kind of making their way, making progress, building up momentum and stuff. And they'll meet some people they've heard of. They'll meet some people they've played their games, they're fans of their games. And those are now a part of their network. Maybe they're friends on Facebook. Maybe they follow each other on Twitter, whatever it might be. But it is possible and valuable as your network to occasionally get some corrective feedback on hey, you know what? I'm just trying to decide high level. I'm going to respect your time. I'm going to keep it short. But is this dumb what I'm trying to do? Or is this kind of okay? And you might at least be able to get back to you know what? Yeah, full steam ahead. You got this. Go get them. And they're going to trust and have to, they're busy too. They got stuff to do, but they're probably expecting you're going to learn from some mistakes. You're going to make some mistakes. You got to get those errors out of your system, but they might be able to, as long as you've made a real personal connection with them, offer just corrective, save you a few degrees of error early on, could result in a whole different destination, far enough down the line.
Totally. Yeah. If I was to make a checklist, here's things to think about, it would be, step one is to see if you can add value to this person you'd like to be your mentor. So the question of where do I even find someone? Well, the internet. That's the starting point. Find people that are doing the things that you want to do. If you want to make games, find people who are making games. Find indies, find people who are speaking, people who got videos, people who are doing press releases. Like, find them, contact them, send them an email. I love LinkedIn. A lot of indies aren't on LinkedIn, but LinkedIn requests. It's cool. And then offer them something. And I had a guy recently who was cool. He's like, hey, Rick, I won't give you all the details because I don't want to try to sell what I'm up to. But he's like, do you do this sort of thing? Because I know someone who you should talk to. I'm like, I'd love to talk to that guy. He connected me with someone else and looks like we're going to do some business together. So the guy who connected us, he's now got a place in my heart. If he needs me to give him some help, I'm there for you, man. You helped out. So step one, finding a mentor. Do something for them. Help them out in some way. Promote their product. Say good things. Do a gameplay video for their game. Write a blog article for their game. Do something that they're like, that's cool. Thanks for that. What can I do for you?
Right. Yeah. And I mean, sometimes just like smart networking in general. Like, it's even separate from mentoring at all. Just like when you go to conferences, not just looking for like who can help me, but like who can help each other, and putting those people in touch with each other. They will both appreciate your role, as long as it's not like completely off base, but that's its own set of, tangles.
Yeah.
And on that note of like, so, and this is going to sound self-serving, but like, so I have a lot of Twitter followers. I spent a lot of years tweeting every single day.
How dare you tell us about your Twitter followers?
But no, so what I was going to say is like, when someone occasionally sends me a message like, hey, I've got a Kickstarter thing I'm doing or whatever, could you give me a little retweet on this thing? If I've seen their icon before because they've like retweeted my stuff or they've responded and participated and post a survey or whatever, I'm like a lot more likely to be like, you know what, I'm going to click the link, double check it. And it's not just like an automatic thing, but it is like this extra little 5 minutes of my time to kind of vet it, to know what I'm rebroadcasting and signal boosting, to look at it and be like, this looks legit, sure, and get some additional eyeballs on it. Not trying to be like a tit for tat, do me a favor, scratch my back and scratch yours, not keeping score, but simply a matter of like recognizing who the heck this is, as opposed to if someone comes out of the cold and I have never seen them or heard of them, and they're asking to take a few minutes of my time to review something, forget it. Like I got nothing else to be dealing with.
I get that a lot because I love hearing from people. I love people asking me questions. I love giving them some value. That's cool. It's what I'm up to in life. But I get a lot of people just out of the blue, hey, can you give me something? Hey, Rick, I need something from you. I'm like, well, in life, we're humans are social beings, and we like this idea of reciprocity. You do something for me, not because I'm keeping score, but I think we remember the good deed. So I remember when I see someone who comments on my videos, I'm like, I've seen this person a few times. I like, thanks for that. And yeah, they've got some sort of collateral. Is that the right word? They've got some sort of points that when they say to me, hey, Rick, can I ask you a question? Cool. The other thing, Chris, I would say is like finding a mentor is a little bit like dating. And I don't know about you, but it took me a while to figure out dating. And one thing I figured out is there's a gradual increase in how things go. So you don't necessarily get there and say, hi, we've just met, but would you like to come back to my place?
Hey, let's get married. You seem nice.
You look hot. Would you like to get married? So it's the same with mentors. And I think a common mistake is, I like you. Will you give me a whole lot of your time and make me awesome? No, I can't pay you. And no, I don't really know what I want. And that's just, if you start with, hi, Chris, send all your questions to Chris, by the way. Hi, Chris, can I ask you a real quick question? It's, do something that'll take 10 seconds of Chris's time because he doesn't have a long attention span. So that's, so it doesn't, over here, Chris. So it doesn't take a lot of time. And then that's the first step.
And so, and I'll also say, so for example, so like I do answer a really high volume of free questions in a very specific context. And so like I have plug codeyourfirstgame.com is my free Udemy course taken by people. And I answer in that course, I've answered every question list like posted. By now, the 36,000 people who've taken the course, I've answered every question personally within 24 hours of being posted. Very proud of this fact. And like, I think that's not paid work. That's obviously me trying to I want to leave a good impression. I want to help them get unstuck. I want to help keep them moving forward. But what happens sometimes is they'll ask a question that's like outside the realm of the course. And I'm like, I am so eager to help, and I will troubleshoot your code and I'll answer questions about the course, but I cannot make this into my general guidance mentorship forum. I've got so many other questions to be juggling and catching up on and doing. And the people who do have like priority on my time are the people who are paying for me to be their instructor or their club mentor or whatever. And like they have to have that priority for like the more open-ended questions. Where it's like the other thing is like often we take for granted because we live inside our own bubbles of like my project that I'm doing and whatever. But like really answering a good question requires a lot of context about it. Like there's no such thing as like a really easy like, hey, just tell me this little thing because you got to know so much else about it. And part of why the club exists or my mentorship or whatever, and people pay me and keep it an ongoing thing is because like if I already know their project and I know them, it's so much easier for me to answer in context the answer that they need, the way they need it in relation to what they actually need, as opposed to like as soon as they want to just dump a question out in the blue, I don't know your project, I don't know your background.
Yeah, you don't want to give them bad advice. Yeah.
Yeah, or like
and I think what you're saying there is also one of the golden rules of finding a mentor is go and do courses. They can be free courses, and then contact the person who ran the course and, give them a little bit of, hey, I really like this about the course. Can I ask you a question related to the course? And so you don't have to, I think mentorship is not necessarily, I've now got Yoda sitting in my backpack, following me around as I go everywhere. It can, I'm kind of stuck a little bit on, should I build my own indie studio or, try to go get a job? I don't know. That's a big thing I need to figure out. And so if someone has watched my videos or done something, been part of what I've done and then asked me a question related to that, I'm like, cool, happy to help you. Got the context. I know the answer to that. Just here you go.
Right. And I mean, this serves kind of a dual purpose on both sides of for you being like, not you, Rick Davidson, but like the person watching or considering finding a mentor helps them like assess, does this person's approach kind of jive with me? Are they talking in a way I'm comfortable listening? Are they discussing things that resonate with the way I think about things?
Yeah.
And like there's a huge difference. Some people from the distance might look at it like, oh, you can like, I didn't know how to drive. Now I know how to drive. It's a skill to learn. Game development, like cooking or art or whatever, is an extremely divergent field. There are just infinite different, equally compatible, correct ways to do things. And someone might steer you down a completely different path, but you want to hear like, okay, what's your attitude towards it? What's your way you're going with it? And is that what you want out of it?
To connect with them. Yeah.
And then some, good.
Oh, sorry. To build on that, I'd say when you're approaching someone who could be a mentor, someone you see online, someone you've taken a course of, someone you've met in real life, you're like, I think this person could help me move forward. I'd say advice for someone finding a mentor is be as specific as you can in terms of why you're contacting someone. So if you contact them, then I get this a bunch as well. Hey, I just want to start dumping questions on you. I'm like, where are you going? Like, what is this? Why are you asking me these questions? Where are we going with this? So if someone contacts me and says, hey, Rick, I like your stuff. I don't have money to pay for your services. Got it. Cool. I like that. But I was really hoping just to ask you a couple of questions. Can I this or can I that? Or are you over this? Then I've got the context. Yeah, absolutely. You know what? You've got my focus and my attention for this amount of time. How can I help you? If I know, or if someone says, I'm really struggling on my project because my teammates suck and they're all idiots and I'm really blocked and I don't know what to do. I'm like, that speaks to something that I'm familiar with because I've been there. I want to help you out, man. Tell me what's going on.
Right.
Like, let me give you a piece of advice. And then, it depends on your definition of mentor, but maybe you just need to get a little bit unblocked at the moment. And then in a few months' time, you go back to that same person, get a little bit unblocked again. I think that's in today's day and age where people are busy, mentorship can be just a little bit of a nudge on the very important things rather than I need someone who I can write an email to every single day to just hold my hand. That's a teacher or that's a coach or that's a mentor. That's someone you pay for or someone you know personally. That's harder to find.
I'll also say it has some downsides. And so like if someone's contacting someone like every single day or only doing work with a hand holding, whatever, it's like it's not building the independence that really someone should want, that the kind of the interactions I've had with people that have been the most long lasting and the most stable and the most beneficial are the ones where like it's much more touch and go. I'm a big fan of this sort of learning philosophy of like get stuck on something, get help with the thing you're stuck on because you're stuck on it and you tried something already and then you can get past it. But like if someone doesn't at least work up to the point that they hit their own wall to need help on it, then like they're never going to build that independence to be able to just like keep pressing forward and find what questions they have. What are the gaps in their understanding? Because those surface when they try their way, when they try their resources and look at what they can.
I think one of the good ways to really connect with that is for you yourself to help others. it might be mentoring others if you've got a particular skill that you're already advanced in, or it could just be helping them in general, finding, sometimes a bit of Google can help people get unblocked when they've got a question. So,
For sure.
How do I find a mentor? Well, find a forum or a group or a place online that you feel is good and comfortable and you like the people hanging out there. Help them out, give them feedback, answer their questions, give them positive encouragement. And then if you do that a bit, I know it sounds a little bit tree huggy and airy fairy, but I think sometimes the universe, i.e. the internet, because the internet is now the universe, the kind of knows that you've been out there doing good. And, more literally, someone who's looking at you can see that you've had a lot of participation and that you're not just a, fly by the seat, just popped up and ask a question. And they know that you're out there helping, so they're more willing to help you.
One asterisk I will put by that, because I see this sort of thing happen and it's frustrating and it happens a lot, but there's sort of this occasional thing of people who will feel like they're doing a favor, and this is not calling anyone out in particular, by like sharing a resource that they have not used or read or tried or taken, but by virtue of like, oh, they've seen this recommended, here, use this. And like, no, like just for a million reasons, that tends to like not be
reposting an article that you read, which is a good article, is also, that's not really helping people. That's just adding spam to the world. It's like, hey, I read this cool thing. There it is.
Look at this cool thing.
This person is saying I'm stuck, or I've got an idea, or is this good or bad, or should I do it? And you taking the time to type, hey, I checked it out and had a close look at it, and I think you should this or that. Here's an idea. I think that's real helping and real connection.
So as it happens, I actually have to jump in a couple of minutes for a mentorship call. But I do want to make sure, like, before we go, like, is there maybe if you want to speak to, like, okay, well, so if there are ways out there to get free mentorship support of varying kinds, of varying levels, why would someone pay someone like Rick Davidson or Chris DeLeon for mentorship?
Yeah, you know what? That's a great point. Really, really good point. And I think I've looked at this a lot when I give people support who are part of my paying things, is it's immediacy. Like if someone's in one of my paying groups, I'm like, you've paid for me to be there for you, so I'm going to get back to you as soon as I can. And it's thoroughness. I know that when I'm on like a Facebook group, the indie game developers Facebook group I'm a moderator for, there's 75,000 or 100,000 people by the time someone watches this, is that there's, I don't have time to come back and check and look into it and really write a detailed answer. But I think if someone's going to find a mentor they're paying for, the question to ask is, how involved is that person going to be? How immediate is their response? How detailed is their answer? And what's their depth of knowledge? Have they done it before? So if you guys are out there looking at Chris and saying, is this schmuck the schmuck for me? I have a look and see, does he have a record of those things? And I know for you, people will find that you're awesome at those things. And then they, this is just a chance for us to tell each other how good we are. Thanks for watching. This wasn't the goal of this video, by the way.
Yeah. But when I think some of it's also this. I mean, like say they get to know you. I think part of it, it's just like if we pay a teacher, if we pay a coach, if we pay an art mentor, whatever, like teacher, instructor, like they become accountable for our success. Yeah, like it's literally their job to like. And these things come up. We're like, so if someone asks me a question for free and I can answer it real quick off the top of my head, I'll do that. If they're paying me and ask me a question and I can't answer off the top of my head, I will go find the answer. Mm-hmm. I will figure it out. I'll figure out how to present it. I'll get back to them with like, okay, yesterday, you know what? We got stuck on this thing, but I looked into it. Here's your solution. And in a way, like,
you also have a vested interest in them succeeding because it makes you look better, because that's your business, but also makes you feel good. And I think if someone's looking to find a mentor that's like a free mentor, try to find someone who, if they help you, it's going to help them in their business, or it's going to help them in what they're up to in life. And this again is, okay, to wrap all this up, looking for a mentor, if you come from the position of take, how can I get something out of this? It's going to be a tough time. Don't know what you're doing there. But anyway, if you come from the position of give.
My person I'm supposed to be meeting with, like
okay. Yeah. I'm talking to Rick. I'm on a video. Just wait. That's your wife, isn't it? She's like, yeah, let me in there. Okay, cool. Well, let's wrap up here. Chris, awesome. And you know what? The comment I'd have, if anyone has made it this far to the end of the video, that you guys already know about me and Chris. So, this is not probably the first video you've seen of us, is if you want more of this kind of stuff where we just explore a topic and dig deep into it and, take 10 or 20 minutes to flesh it out, then let us know. Please, please write a comment, write a good comment, not a shitty comment, and thumbs up and subscribe and post to Reddit and, make a fan page about how we love okay, not all that stuff. Just let us know. Right. We'll do some more of it.
And you're just in case they're finding us on my channel, they don't. So you're gamecareercoach.com?
Yes. And you're Gamkedo without an E.
Yeah, GAMKEDO. .com is the main website. .club is the sort of membership teams project stuff. But I got to jump for this other call. Cool. It's been great as always. Thanks for taking the time, Rick.
Guys, in the next video.
Yep. Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.